Hello! It is great to know that you, yes, you have clicked on this video because today we're going to be covering some strange things that have occurred in my life within the month of November 2022. On November 11th, 2022, I thought in my mind, I would really like to understand God. And then immediately after that, I said that out loud as I was walking down the street. And the street that I usually walk down is actually made of sand. Immediately, I saw a white streak of light heading southwest. What's interesting is that this was at very high altitude. I don't know how large this object would have been, but the timing does not seem like it's a coincidence. The object seemed like it was heading northeast and was going down at a 30-degree angle. So whatever this apple thing was, it was just really bizarre. And I'd say that the apple thing was probably maybe a little bit below the power line level, so, probably less than 20 feet in the air. Very odd. And what makes me credible is my consistency. Being able to do the same thing over and over and over again. And if you're not out walking at night, you're probably not going to ever see any UFOs. Okay? UFOs, to my knowledge, cannot fit inside of your house. And if they can fit inside your house, it's very, very unlikely that they'll ever come into your house. So on my way back, heading back home from my walk, right by the intersection, there was this strange object about basketball size, and it looked like an apple. And if you've ever seen an apple, usually it'll be like red on like most of it, and then near the back, it'll be like a greenish, yellowy type thing. And that's what I saw. So a basketball-sized apple-like object with this unique coloration heading down at a 30-degree angle heading northeast, and it was flying a little bit lower than the power line, so I'd say less than 20 feet in the air. So the streak of light and this apple-like object on November 11th, 2022 is what I saw. Then, on November 24th, 2022, this was Thanksgiving night. Usually when I go for a walk, I usually leave around 8 o'clock p.m. and return around 10 o'clock p.m. However, on this night, I left around 9 o'clock p.m. and came back around 11 o'clock p.m. I really do think coincidences are paranormal, especially where all these people, millions of people, sometimes possibly even billions of people, are having these coincidences which are less likely than winning the lottery, and they're having these experiences anyway. That's pretty weird, right? So just like that streak of light that I saw, just like what I saw after making the statement on the 11th, on the 24th, I made a statement, but where I was in the middle of two open areas of farmland in the middle of the night on Thanksgiving night, and immediately after I say, I don't think I'll ever see anything strange on Thanksgiving night, this drone shows up. The real paranormal thing is me taking those 3 steps and then immediately back. Right on cue. Again, these coincidences that I'm having, to me, seem paranormal in the way that I keep having them, and a lot of people aren't having them. However, other people are having different coincidences that I'm not having. And that's also quite bizarre. It was no bigger than a foot long, had those 4 rotor type things. But there's a possibility it could have been a UFO. I saw something that almost looked like a thin line going forward and behind it, and it was like a black line. But I don't know what that was, and that was coming across the dirt road. It also, let's say if my vision was a little blurred because of the darkness or whatever, it could have been an upside down UFO where it was like a rectangle, like that, and a rectangle like that, and then a smaller rectangle, and then like this little rounded light that was red on the bottom. But it looked human made, and I'm pretty sure, like 97% sure, that what I saw was in fact a drone and not a UFO. But it could have been. I also saw this thing for maybe about 10 seconds, and it flew above the power lines, so it was probably at maybe 30 or 35 feet in the air, and it was heading south. Then after the drone went away, I immediately said out loud, I doubt that I will see any other strange things or UFOs tonight. About 40 minutes later, I'm getting ready to return home, and immediately I get to that intersection, same intersection where I saw that apple-like object a while ago, days ago, and heading literally right over the area of where my house was. Now, I wasn't at my house yet, I was still at the intersection, but immediately right over where the roof would have been of my house is where this yellow fireball showed up, heading downwards at about 20 degrees. It also had no smoke behind it, and even weirder is on the outside it had like this intense green, like pearlescence on the outside of it, but the rest of the fireball was yellow, and it looked like you could see different shades of yellow as it was moving forward. And at the front it was rounded, and at the back it was kind of like cut off but zigzagged. But you could see this bright green iridescence all the way around the whole shape of this thing. And it literally only showed up for about 4 seconds right over the area of where my home would be, the place where I reside. I would guess that this fireball, at the beginning of it, would have been about exercise ball size. So for those who don't know, the exercise balls, they're taller than most young children. Okay. I used to play with one when I think it was like 1st or 2nd grade. And you jump on it and then you roll over the top because that's how big they are. There may be I don't know, maybe like 10 times bigger than a basketball, maybe a bit bigger, maybe a bit smaller, I don't know. But I'd say the front of it of this fireball was exercise ball size. You can go look online, look at Walmart. I think they sell them still. I'm sure there's some other places that sell exercise balls. But they're really, really big. They're the big ones that some people like to sit on. I know they have different sizes, but this would be like the largest exercise ball size that I'm thinking of. It also flew what I thought was maybe about 3 property lengths. But I guess what's exciting for me is I haven't seen great balls of fire in quite a long time. So seeing the fireball was pretty amazing. But again, the coincidence, right? I said, I don't think I'm going to see that, and guess what? Something weird happened. It was that fireball. Another double dip on November 28th, 2022. Another 2 things happened. The first thing is a white light of unknown size and flying at an unknown distance, because I was right up against the trees walking in this area where the trees are kind of thick, so I'm right here. I could not tell how big this object was or how high it was flying, but it was a really bright white light, almost as bright as an airplane white light, like that. However, I could not tell what it was, and on top of that, it was silent. Usually, if you see an airplane light, you usually hear an airplane. Now, I did not hear an airplane. I did not see an airplane. All I saw was this bright light through the branches of the trees, and it was heading west, and I was also walking heading west. But I did not get a clear look at this. All I know is that there was a bright white light for a period of time with no sound. I also only witnessed this light for about 3 seconds. And then, later that night, a very high altitude object streaked across the sky. It was green in color. I saw it for about 7 seconds. It came from the southeast and it headed northeast. And that could have been that was really high altitude. So that object must have been pretty large. I would guess it to be maybe in our inner atmosphere, but at a high altitude. But I would say probably below satellite level, but above maybe commercial airline level. So it was a pretty big object, whatever it was, and it was just really bright green, but it was far away, whatever it was. And those are the weird things that happened to me in the month of November 2022. I'm Anthony Giarrusso. Have a lovely day.